Many Indians who did not get their H1B in the lottery or were laid off are moving back to India, and they are posting about it on LinkedIn. So what does it mean for those who are planning to go to US soon? I sense a lot of fear in the minds of people who have applied or are planning to apply soon. Everybody is dreading what is going to happen tomorrow. What if you don't find a job? What if you don't find someone to sponsor your H1B? I can totally understand all these concerns. I thought, why not make a video on it? So here it is. Here's how I look at the whole situation and some advice from my side. Again, this video may trigger some of you. My goal is not to trivialize the issue or scare you, but to look at it realistically and think constructively. Let's begin. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Lately, I've been posting a lot of current issues and controversial videos. Again, I would love to know what you think about these topics and whether you agree with my point of view or not. So keep telling me those things and give your feedback in the comments below. And I hope we can keep talking about these issues, looking at the both sides of the coin, because I don't want to be biased either way. So 95,000 tech layoffs happened in US in 2022 and 1.75 lakh layoffs happened in US in 2023 according to layoffs.fyi. Of course, many Indians were caught off in this layoff wave. When you are laid off, you have to find another employer to sponsor your H1B within 60 days. While some found a new job, and this includes one of my own Scholar Strategy client, others were not as fortunate and had to move out of US. Let's look at this post for example. Hemal graduated from TAMU and even interned at Meta. By no means you can call him a weak profile student. But unfortunately, he was hit by the layoffs and could not find another sponsored job. Similarly, Chirag was laid off from Walgreens and both of them had to leave US and come back to India. There are other scenarios as well when you have to move out of the US. For example, you are working on OPT and apply for H1B, but you did not get your H1B picked up in the lottery. Now, if you're a STEM student, you have 3 years to work on OPT, which means you can try for H1B thrice. If you're a non-STEM student, you have only 1 year and 1 attempt on this lottery. If yours is not picked, then you will have to move out. The last scenario is if you graduate and your OPT period has started, but you are still not able to find a job within 90 days, you have to leave US. To be honest, this happens very rarely because you can show any kind of employment to meet this requirement. Even an unpaid job can be considered here, and the university tries really their best to help you out. So I have not seen any person who had to move out of the US because they could not find a job within 90 days of the OPT period. But I have seen and I've been seeing people who had to leave US because they did not get the H1B picked up in the lottery or because they were laid off and they could not find another job in 60 days. So what does this mean for you? Obviously, you cannot change the macroeconomic scenario or your luck. Not finding a job even after interning at Meta or not getting H1B in the lottery are things outside your control. So what you must do is stay prepared for such adverse scenarios. In this video, I will discuss 2 things. 1, how to prepare for 2024 job market, and second, what to do if things do not work out in the US. Let's start with how you can stay prepared for the job and visa uncertainty, and here's how. Number 1 is maximize your stay as a student. Go for 2-year courses instead of 1 year, which also lets you do internships, which I think are critical in this market. Secondly, go only for STEM courses. Understand that you have 3-year study work permit OPT in US if you studied a STEM course. The longer your OPT, longer you can work there without needing a H1B. This is why it is crucial that you go for STEM courses only. Otherwise, you will get only 1 year study work permit. Second thing is go for courses that prepare you to be employed. A very theoretical course will not help you. Courses which help you build projects, network, and do internships should be preferred today. Third thing is prepare for internship and job hunt from day 0, which means right now. If you are heading to US this fall, you must start preparing for it right now. I have put up an extensive and elaborate internship masterclass for this very reason. Check it out. In any other year, I wouldn't be such an alarmist, but this is one of those years where it's better to be safe than sorry. I am seeing my own clients how they have benefited from this website. It doesn't mean you will find job very easily, but it means that you will be better prepared to handle the tough job market and job hunt that you're going to face in US. So those are the three things you can do to be more prepared for 2024. But now let's talk about the scenario where your luck runs out and you have to move out of the US for any of the reasons we have previously discussed. Here you have three options, and number one is your employer can try moving you to a location outside US. So let's imagine that you were working, your H1B did not get picked up, but your employer really wants to retain you. They can move you maybe to their Canadian or European office, because you can still apply for Canadian work permit or visa in London, etc., and they can help you with it. This is a realistic scenario. This has happened with some of our clients as well, and of course with some of my friends in Citigroup also. When they were moved to Hong Kong when their H1B lottery did not get picked up. So it all depends on how good of a rapport you have with your employer and how badly they want to retain you. This can work out in your favor if the case is that your H1B did not get picked up. Second option is you can convert to PhD or enroll in another master's program. Now, this is a risky option, and obviously everybody cannot and doesn't want to do a second degree. But if you are interested in research, it may not be a bad idea to pursue PhD in this scenario, because one, it can extend your stay in US, and two, PhDs are eligible for non-cap H1B visas and faster green card processing as well in some cases. So doing a PhD working in a R&D kind of a role or academia has a lot of advantages when it comes to visa and green card. So if that is something of interest to you, you can consider this to just prolong your stay in the US. And lastly, let's talk about the third option, which is you move back to India. Irrespective of whether you did not get the H1B lottery or whether you were laid off, if you have to move out of US, you can obviously come back to India. In this case, you get to be closer to your family and live freely with no fear of visas, etc. Especially if you have been able to save in US before coming back like I did, moving back can be fun. However, if you are in student debt, then moving back can cause financial stress. Secondly, finding a job back in India is not a cakewalk. You may have to compromise a lot on the salary. In any case, your salary won't at all be comparable to what you were earning in the US. So if you have to pay off your US dollar loan in Indian salary, it can take a while to do so. The worst case is when you have to move back in desperation and you are worried about how your friends and family back in India will feel about it. To avoid that kind of job and social pressure, I highly advise that you keep your Indian ties warm when you move abroad. Keep yourself up to date on Indian market and have referrals ready for you when things start looking worrisome abroad. Basically, you want to make sure your resume is strong and you have good skills which are marketable today. Doing a master's from a random university will not help you. The crux is be prepared that you may have to leave US after 3 years of OPT. Have a plan in place. It could mean going back to school or asking your employer to place you in another country or even moving back to India. So does it still make sense to study abroad in 2024? You have to answer this for yourself. Ask what is your alternative in India. If you have a solid career planned in India, you can skip the uncertainty of abroad. But if you don't have good education or job prospects in India, then study abroad can still give you upside. Do your ROI calculations and make an informed choice. If I have to look at Chirag's or Hemal's case, they both benefited from their stints in the US. So even if they had to come back, I don't think they would like to trade their past choices for something else. As I've been saying in previous videos too, don't take H1B visas and jobs for granted. It may happen that you have to leave US, but as long as you are mentally okay to come back to India, even those 3 years of working in US can be rewarding. Of course, if your whole objective of study abroad is to settle there, then maybe US is not the right destination for you. Lastly, I see many influencers hyping the job market in European countries like Luxembourg, Denmark, etc. Let me reiterate that job market is tough everywhere, including Europe, India, Australia, etc. Do not chase random jobs in random countries. Think long term, build skills, and really find out what you want from the life. What do you think about this trend where people are moving back? And how do you feel about it? How will it change your study abroad plans? Tell me in the comments below, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Take care. Bye bye.